So I check out Algae Miner every once in a while, and I saw something that was posted on Thursday. Palestinian Authority's 2017 budget shows a huge increase in funding for terrorist payments. So, the Palestinian Authority's 2017 budget shows a huge increase in funding of salaries for imprisoned terrorists and family of martyrs, an Israeli Research Institute revealed on Wednesday. According to the Palestinian Media Watch, the amount of money allocated by the PA for payments to terrorists jailed in Israel rose 13% this year to $158 million compared to $135 million in 2016. During the same time frame, disbursement for family members of dead terrorists increased by 4% to $197 million from $183 million. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to a chart that I see on this article. You can check it out for yourself. It's still on Algae Miner. So, from 0 to 3 years in jail, a terrorist receives $400 a month plus another $86 a month per wife plus another $14 a month per child. And if it's a Jerusalem resident, that's another $86 a month. And if it's an Israel resident, another $143 a month. Then we go to the ones, let's say you get 15 to 20 years in prison. That would be $2,000 a month that terrorist receives while he's in jail. Let's say 30 plus years in prison. That would be $3,438 that the Palestinian Authority is paying terrorists while they're in jail. So the more horrific the crime perpetrated on the Jews in Israel, the more money these terrorists get. And who is paying the Palestinian Authority? It is all the nations of the world. All the nations of this world are complicit. They are paying the terrorists to butcher and slaughter the Jews. So, I know I saw an article that talked about how much the U.S. government paid might be able to find it on this article here. Who knows? So the Palestinian Authority has paid some $4 billion. $1.12 billion over the past 4 years to terrorists and the families of terrorists who were killed while carrying out terrorist attacks. Anyone who has sat in prison for more than 30 years gets $3,360 a month, and nearly 10 times the average salary that the Palestinians pay employees. So these are the top salary getters, the terrorists. The Palestinians' own budgetary documents clearly state that these payments to the terrorists are salaries and not welfare payments. When terrorists are released, they get a grant and are promised a job at the Palestinian Authority. They also receive a military rank that is determined according to the number of years they've served in jail. Now, Another article. This is on Breitbart. Talks about the same thing. Knesset, and halfway through the article, the Knesset briefing came days after President Donald Trump visited Israel and met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas for the second time in 1 month. Trump addressed Abbas on the issue at their joint press conference, saying peace can never take root in an environment where violence is tolerated, funded, or rewarded. According to Israel's Channel 2, when Trump and Abbas met behind closed doors in an hour earlier, the president lashed out at the Palestinian leader for lying to him. You tricked me in D.C. You talked there about your commitment to peace, but the Israelis showed me your involvement in incitement against Israel. But see, the United States continues to fund the Palestinian terrorists. And while there is, it says here, the U.S. Congress is pushing hard for the Taylor Force Act legislation that would cut U.S. funding to the Palestinian Authority so long as it continues to provide financial support to the families of perpetrators of attacks against Israelis and Israeli Americans. I don't know if anything has been done about this or not. I'll go look it up. Status of Taylor Force Act. It was introduced on February 16th, 2017. And there it sits. It just sits there. I tell you, there's going to be payback for this. How in the world is the U.S. government going to undo what has already been done? You have to not just stop the payments to the terrorists, you have to undo what's been done. Demand all that money back. That would be a start, but they're not going to do that. The sin has already been carried out. The treachery and the stabbing in the back by Israel's supposed friend in Washington, D.C. has already been carried out. There will be payback for it. Like I said before, when all is said and done, when everything Israel is removed from the United States and taken to the Holy Land, taken to the New Jerusalem, the United States won't be but a skeleton of its former self. That's what it will be. It will become, overnight, a third world country. Because the people who make this country work are the very people who are the most hated in the world. So, I wanted to share this with you. The United States is very much culpable in the bleeding of the innocent Israelis.